Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Solopreneur Success Systems podcast. Now, for all of you that are considering working with me in any capacity, I wanted to have some of my amazing clients come on today and talk with you about what it's like to work with me. Now, there are lots of different options for working with me, and I know that can be a little bit confusing. So, if you're listening to this episode live, I'm actually going to be running a promotion to join my lowest ticket offer, which is currently marketing systems priced at 1,500. And within that program, you learn all the basics about social media and how to scale. And within that, it's a full year. And I'm going to be really focusing on that program. If you join by Friday of this upcoming week, you're going to be able to get access to the five-figure system startup pack if you pay in full, and you'll also get access to the money back kickstart bonus, which helps you get that 1,500 that you spend back within the first 30 days that you're in the program, and then just compound your results afterward. So that is the first thing that I want to announce. If you're listening to this live, definitely make sure that you join while the bonuses are available. But I also know that there are people who are interested in joining more than just marketing systems. I also have my high ticket mastermind, which is 7,500 for the year. And within that mastermind, we talk about not just making your first 10K, but scaling from 10 to 100K within a year. And then I also work with people one on one. So today I wanted to offer, at least this week, I'm going to have the option that you can do a consult with me. You can book this out, and then within the consult, I'll help you decide which offer might be best for you. Marketing systems is typically for 0 to 10K. Scaling systems is for 10 to 100K. And then one on one, it really varies. It could be people who are just starting out that really want that extra support and really that concierge level of help. And then there's also the mastermind, that the people who are more of a ticket for the mastermind, maybe you're looking to scale a larger group, maybe you're looking to get your business out there a little bit more and what might help with that. And that is another thing I do with my one-on-one clients. So today I have two amazing clients that I have for you. I have Jeff and Leslie. They are actually, Jeff is a current one-on-one client. Leslie is a former one-on-one client, now masterminder, and they're going to be sharing a little bit about themselves and their experiences within the programs, breakthroughs they've gotten accomplished, they've created, and reasons for why you should start. So today I'm going to start with Jeff. If you want to go ahead, and I'm going to pin you in, go ahead and introduce yourself. And then if you want to share about a breakthrough you've had since we first started working together.
Oh, I'm Jeff Hecklinski. I go by Coach Heck. I spent 25 years in major college football as a coach and worked almost every part of the country, all over the country as a college football coach, and especially on the business side of major college football. And then the past 3 years, I am an executive C-suite president for a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange. 2 months ago, stepped out and started my own keynote speaking and one-on-one coaching company called Savage and Savage Rise Coaching. It's all based under the Savage model. Everybody always asks me why Savage, and in the coaching world, I see a lot of people who use their names. I wanted something that represented me in one word that I could create an acronym off of, and Savage is really something that represents me because of the passion that I have for helping people, helping develop people, and helping push people past their own visions and limitations and creating the greatest version of themselves. So I'm excited. My biggest breakthrough with Megan, and since I've started working, Megan, we've worked for about 3 weeks now together, is learning the entire process to digital marketing and how everything's brought together. I was just telling her I ran an ad last week for the first carousel that I created on what Rise one-on-one coaching is about, and introducing it. We really introduced it last week for the first time. On Monday, we ran a 5-day ad, and I had 750 uh, hits on my appointment page. And so, I mean, that's huge. Without Megan, I would have never been able to even get into that process and understanding one, how to simplify it down because, as you can tell, I speak a lot and I write the way I speak. So all my posts are way too big. And so Megan comes in and just, deletes everything for me and gets it down to a very simple version of it. So, that whole process of learning how people's minds see things in the digital world, in the social media world, what hits and what they look at and then how to get them to act, I think is the most important thing. And that's the biggest breakthrough I've had with Megan so far. So thank you for having me on, by the way. And I look forward to hearing Leslie's story too.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for such a fantastic intro. And I think that one of the things that I've seen so much for you, a lot of times people think that it takes a long time to get results. And one of the things that I try and emphasize is you get results and then we just compound on those results as time goes on. And I think, Jeff, your story is so important because a lot of people, I mean, obviously, as you are running your company, when you're also as a D1 football coach, you have a lot of expertise. And from all of those different fields, creating a coaching business can be it's almost like a whole new world, but it builds on those expertises that you've created over the years. And I think one thing that I want to highlight from your story is if you are in a stage of life where you're potentially pivoting and coaching is the next career for you, that it is so possible and so doable, and there are things that you can do to make algorithms work for you, just taking your expertise and kind of like distilling it down to be something that people want to see, I think is really, really important. And I'm really excited for you to be an example for more people who are thinking about starting businesses, that it does work, you can move quickly, and so much is possible now within social media.
Right. 100%.
Yes. Okay, so good. Let me swap you out. And Leslie, if you want to go ahead and share about yourself, why and your biggest breakthrough that you've had. I know we've worked together for a very long time. So if you want to share about that as well.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I would love to share. Thank you so much for having me on, by the way. And it's such a it's great to meet Jeff, other people that are working with Megan. And we have like the opposite side of the coin here, where they've got masculine and the feminine. And now we're going to get into. So my name is Leslie Duffy, and I'm a functional wellness practitioner and a life coach for women over 40. And I help them regain control of their health and manage their hormone symptoms naturally, and to really make this time of their lives a little bit more human and try to humanize medicine and create the life that is able to support their change and shift of life, in any capacity, because we use also life coaching too. So and I use education. I think a lot of women in my position, the Gen Xers, we were never taught about hormones. We go to the doctor and we're very confused. And so part of what I do also is teaching on hormones and your body systems. And I have 4 ways that I support people in mind, body, feel, and lifestyle. That was a long one. Sorry, people. And the way what was the next question was along the lines of, I actually started working with Megan. I got it now. Don't worry. I started working with Megan on one-on-one. I jumped into one-on-one, and I think it was early in my business career, and I think it was the best decision. And I'll tell you why. I came from medicine. Uh, I was a registered nurse for many years, working in the hospitals, became a functional medicine practitioner. And in none of those spaces did they ever teach you about business, and especially being an entrepreneur. No way. That was never even discussed. And so I think what really helped was understanding. I was in a moment where I was like, I just don't know what I'm supposed to be doing on social media. I don't know anything. And I don't know how I'm supposed to talk to people. And Megan, like I talked about humanizing things. Megan humanized being an entrepreneur and how to talk to people and build relationships, which is really important. And she was way ahead of the curve. When everybody else was doing other things, Megan was always on, like, you have to build relationships. You have to talk to people like you're a human being. And so I think that was incredibly helpful. And then I went into one mastermind. Then I took a break, and now I'm back again in another mastermind. And I cannot recommend it enough. Even if you do take a break, you have to come back because when you go out and you practice what Megan has taught you, you I think it's really important to have accountability. At least when you are doing it, it is very lonely being an entrepreneur, and having a group and having Megan especially on your side is really important. She will go to bat for you. The one thing I want to just also say is like my biggest breakthrough is creating that structure to get out of my own head. But also, Megan and I have kind of like a similar personality, and she really coached me on being an authority and really stepping into your authority, despite having a nice, bubbly personality that people might be like, oh, like overlook, and really focus on um, my strengths and being more of an authority in my space without giving up key parts of your personality. So I think that was really helpful for me. That was my biggest breakthrough.
I love saying that. And I think that, so there are three things I want to hit on here. I think that are really important that also kind of weave in with Jeff's story as well. So one of the things that I think is first and foremost, even if you come from a business background like Jeff, business on social media as a solopreneur, it's a different world. It's just a very different setup. Yes, of course, we do have to work on the same things like marketing and managing leads, but I think that it's really important to understand that there's lots of nuances when you're actually marketing yourself. And then the other thing that you touched on is if you don't come from a business background, like didn't, I came from a teaching background, and then going into this new world of social media, I felt like things were so, I felt like it was just like, okay, what do we talk about? Whatever's on my mind. I would be driving to school on a Tuesday and be like, okay, I know I need to be on social media. So I would just post about whatever was top of mind. And if I didn't feel inspired, I wouldn't post. And I think that that is so important for other people to understand is that if you're coming from a field that is not business, and even if you are coming from a business field, it's a different situation. It really is just actually being consistent, creating a system around it to make it easy. I'm really glad you touched on that because I think a lot of people feel like, oh, it's just a post on social media. It should be so simple. And it is not. It's like five different jobs in one, and you have to really think about it like that. So, first and foremost, love that approach. And I love that you touched on like coming from the nursing field and functional medicine and how different this is. But the other thing that you touched on that was a breakthrough that I think is really, really important is humanizing social media, creating social media in a way that feels genuine and authentic. Building real relationships is such an important piece for me. Just because I don't want to receive spam. That's not my intent. And I don't want to be a spamming kind of person. I just genuinely want to get out there and help as many people as possible. And I think that that's a really great way to think about DMs and social media and things like that. So I'm so glad that has felt so simple for you. That's my goal for every single person in any program, whether it's one-on-one, group, the mastermind. I hope that DMs start to feel like you're actually having and building conversations with people.
Can I
So,
just say, oh, can I just say one more thing?
of course,
Yeah, I think that when I first started doing this, I was like, well, this is my, this is my personality on social media, and this is what I do on social media. But like, I'm not like that, right? So I had a disconnect, and it was like, well, I have to bring my own personality and my own style to this. And when I realized like, oh, I'm actually like a really good friend. I really love supporting my clients. And if I could look at those people that I'm connecting with as, people that I'm actually helping, that was a really big shift too. That just like instead of thinking like, oh, it's a lead, this is somebody I have to nurture to get money, instead I thought of it as I'm actually helping this person whether or not they pay me or not. So that was like a big shift for me too.
oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And I think that that also touched on another thing that you said about the authenticity of your voice online, being authoritative in a way that you are genuinely leading people in a way that builds trust, that shows people that you are an expert in this field is important, but it also needs to have your personality and feel with it. And that's another thing about DMing people, like creating that relationship. I find that a lot of us are very natural when it comes to coaching. Jeff, you of course as well. Like I think that all of us are natural coaches. And then when we get into the social media sphere, it can feel like we're almost like creating a different persona, that it's like, okay, I have to be the marketing version. And when you
Mhm.
can actually bridge the gap between who you are as a coach to the version of you online, I found that you will get such a huge influx of clients just from you authentically showing up in the way that you would on a coaching call. It really brings in a lot of people that you would actually want to work with. So,
Yeah,
so
and I
yeah,
don't know if the other thing that I think is important here is you can do all this yourself.
yeah,
And with working with you, like I just think of the queso and Canva and the things that, now I had to go research it. And that's the beautiful thing about ChatGPT is I can say,
Mhm.
help me create a carousel in Canva, and it gives me instructions to be able to work through all that stuff. But you're the one who brought that to the forefront to be able to then go do it yourself. You don't have to pay money to go have somebody else do something that you can do yourself. Yes, it takes time. Yes, it's frustrating. Yes, it's hard to, learn because, I mean, you're just basically for, a day or two playing around with it just to even begin to understand what it is.
yeah,
But then once you get into a rhythm and a flow and you understand that you can do it yourself, then that enables you to put your own, I think like Leslie said, bring your own personality into it. Because if you have somebody else doing it, they don't know who you are.
Yeah, totally. Mhm.
And you can now say, you're operating in the moment of this is me, rather than somebody else trying to guess who you are and having to continue to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Time is money, money is time in this. And that's what I learned stepping off the football field and coming into the public world and being an executive. You can't waste time, because if you waste time, you're losing money, and you can't waste money because if you waste money, you're running out of time.
yeah. Well, and I think this also brings up a really good point because I have a lot of my one-on-one clients, they have social media managers. And by outsourcing that social media aspect of things, in fact, I literally just got off the call with a one-on-one client this morning, and I will do this for people like in marketing systems, my low ticket program and my mastermind. But within that, they'll have marketing managers, social media managers that do wonderful things, get them lots of views. One of my clients has 17,000 organic followers, 17,700 followers. So a ton of followers. She's gone viral multiple times, which is what the social media manager's intent is. However, hasn't signed clients since the
Right.
beginning of this year. And so within that, one of the things that you just said is that when you do it yourself, you get to put your spin on things, but then it also becomes easier to delegate because then you know what you want it to sound like. You know what you want your social media manager to do, and then you then can trade your time for money. And if somebody, like let's say your social media manager or VA, whoever you decide to bring on, if you do want to bring on somebody, then what you can do is you can take it back if they're out sick, if there's a crisis, if they quit. I've had so many clients are like, my social media managers quit and I don't know what to do. So therefore, I'm just not going to post at all. It's like, oh no, we don't want that.
That goes back to why I work with you.
Yeah,
I think that all comes back full circle to then say you're helping people, whether it's confidence, Leslie, or it's, an understanding of what's out there for me. You help people come to grips with the fact that they can do it themselves. And I think that's important, and listen, I think there's a lot of great people doing a lot of great things. And, I applaud anybody that wants to go out there and do it themselves, because for the last 3 years, I know how hard it is to build any type of business, let alone build something that, creates a successful income stream to support a family. But on the other end of it, I think the time that you put into it, don't have other people use that time, because you can be doing it yourself and actually become so efficient at it that you're actually saving time and saving money.
I totally agree with you. And I think that that's a huge piece of things too, is like just I'm I came from a background where I couldn't afford a social media manager. I had to do it all myself. I think that's the majority of situations that most of my clients are in is there isn't, and another thing that I think is important about both every program that I run is Jeff mentioned at the beginning that he did run an ad, he boosted a post, which is a fantastic thing. If you've got resources, when we double down on what works, that's great. But the other thing that's a benefit of organic marketing and not delegating tasks and hiring people right away to take on responsibilities and just being able to do it on your own is that it is cost effective. And then you can save up money for things like ads that you can then double down and invest in your business. So, so good. Love this. And actually, Kyra is joining us now. So I'm going to let her come in and I'm gonna introduce her. She messaged me that she is able to take this call from her car, which is so great. Kira, it's so great to see you. If you want to unmute, what we're doing is we've just gone around and we just asked the first question, so you have not missed much. And we are talking about hello. We were talking about first and foremost introducing yourself, what your name is, who you help. You are a person who is in marketing systems, so we've heard from a one-on-one, from a one-on-one to masterminder, and now we get to hear from you in marketing systems.
hmm
And we would love to hear about what is your biggest breakthrough. Introduce yourself, your offer, and then what your biggest breakthrough has been so far.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for having me, Megan. I'm still getting used to all the time changes and travel of summer, so hence the car, but so happy to be here. My name is Kyra O'Shea, and I'm a certified functional nutritionist, and I help women get pregnant. I help women balance hormones and just live the life that they so want to live. And then so far, I think just working with you and being in systems is the biggest takeaway. Is that the question right now?
Yes, what has been your biggest breakthrough in marketing systems so far?
Okay, well, first of all, I'll just say like actually figuring out how to be consistent has probably been the biggest breakthrough for me. Learning from you to put the consistency out there, to put the 90-day plans out there, to show up regardless, and then to watch. So the revenue, obviously, for me is like the biggest change of just being able to actually have revenue in a business and to be able to count on revenue. Within just a few weeks of working with you, I made more than I had all of last year. So it was very exciting stuff, and it's continued. So it's just been really, really fun.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to hear this. And if you guys heard me talk about the person who made her money back in 48 hours, that was Kira. She made her money back in 48 hours, joined, and then you also got a referral from that client too, which is incredible. I think that that's the benefit of doing things like this, that you can see results really quickly and then double down, which is so fantastic. And the other thing that I find really interesting that I didn't even put two and two together, but everyone on this call is a parent in different stages of life, but
Yes.
everyone is a parent. And I think that you have the youngest kids of the group. And my goal is that obviously you're helping other women get pregnant, but I think that my goal is that the systems make being an entrepreneur and parent accessible. Um, I know I'm throwing you on the spot right now, Kira, but do you mind sharing a little bit about that? Just because you do have younger kids and just kind of how that shaped your business a little bit over the summer, especially with the kids being home?
Oh, 100%. So I have four children, ages 1 to 10, and two of mine are two and under. So the number one thing, like I said, the consistency is I think it's so easy to feel overwhelmed, right? And we all have our stories, we all have our things going on, and they're all 100% valid. But I was looking at this mountain, not knowing like how do I just like consistently take the first step? Because I was great at showing up for, 3 days a week, whatever. But obviously, with being a mom and a business owner, you're always like feeling torn. And that's the thing about setting up systems is that it's not, it just becomes part of your routine, part of your life. And of course, I'm still learning. But I think that that's the number one thing of even just saying, oh, like I can reuse content. I don't have to create fresh content all the time. Like learning those strategies and learning, I think the biggest thing is just you have taught me to break things down and to keep them simple. And right, like that's the biggest thing to be about being a parent is being able to break things down and explain something to a kid. And sometimes we have to treat ourselves like that too. And I just love that I'm learning that from you.
Oh my gosh, amazing. So, so good. Thank you so much for coming on, Kyra. With time changes and summer schedules, I am so grateful for all of you being here. And we're going to go around and do the next question, which is what has your biggest accomplishment been so far? And Jeff, we're going to start back with you. I know you shared a little bit, we jumped around a smidge, but do you mind sharing about like what has been accomplishments that you've experienced so far, 3 weeks in?
Yeah, and I don't know, Megan, because I'm going to have to jump in
Yes. Do you
15
want to,
minutes.
would you care to do both? Would you
Yeah,
care
if I
to
can
share
do both
about,
positions, just because I got that meeting at 8 that I have got
yeah,
to.
I got you. So, what has your
So,
biggest accomplishment been? And then why should other people start working with me?
okay, so my biggest accomplishment is first off, uh, starting something from the ground and really building it in a quick, short, efficient period of time because I've only been at this for 2 months. And Megan and I met with Dr. Ola at Amplify 2025, and I knew in that moment that Megan was going to be somebody who could really help me accelerate my process through this. And what I was missing, I knew I was missing something. And I think that's the first thing to recognize. If you're going to build something from nothing, if you got an idea and you got a thought, and you say, okay, first question you got to ask is, can I, like Kyra said, can I create revenue off of it?
Hmm.
If I can create revenue off it, if I see a need, then now I got to figure out, okay, what do I already possess? But then where do I have to go find what I'm missing? And I knew that I was missing the social media digital marketing aspect of what this is. I knew it. Being a part of my other company on the NYSE, a lot of people tried to bring us into the digital marketing side of it, and it didn't go well for us. I mean, the point blank, just say it wasn't productive at all, and we were throwing money out the window at things that just we weren't even getting hits on things.
Yeah.
And so I knew I was going to have to find that. And so why work with Megan to build that in? Why work with Megan is very simple. She simplifies the process to make it understandable. So people who aren't, I listen, I have learned to become tech savvy in the last 3 years. What I am as a person is I am a grinder that will sit on the computer and chat GBT and learn. I can teach myself. That I know is a strength. When Megan said, okay, here's the systems that you need, they're affordable,
Yeah.
which is first and foremost. Canva's like $200 for an annual. I mean, that's okay. I'm putting money into my business, but $200 is not a lot when you think about it compared to if you outsource it to somebody else. Megan simplifies the process. She's high energy. I've never met anybody. Every time she sends something back, that smile and that voice. I mean, I gotta actually mute it because if I'm somewhere public, everybody looks at me like, "Who is that?" Um, which is, and it's every time, but that also gives you the energy to go do what you're learning. And those are things that I think are important because it is a grind. And you do spend a lot of time at it. And if you're going to make it work, you're going to have to spend a lot of time at it. This isn't going to happen overnight. I mean, even over the course of 2 months, I've had good successes. I think probably like Kyra and Leslie, we've had good successes, but there's successes that are leading to bigger successes that we know we're going to get to. Mine over 2 months have been little. They're starting to pay off, but it just takes time to build your client base. It takes time for people to understand who you are,
Yeah.
what's your message, to people to trust your message. Even though I have a background of 25 years of major college football coaching, there's people in the world that don't understand what football is or what major college football is. And they're saying, well, who is that guy?
Hmm.
Why should I trust that guy
Hmm.
over everything else that I'm seeing? Because on social media, we're all we're all swamped. I mean, you get inundated in how do I say that word? I always mess up that word.
Inundated, I
You get
think.
overwhelmed. Yeah, you get
Overwhelmed.
overwhelmed. You get overwhelmed. I mean, because it's nonstop. I mean, and it's nonstop. And somebody like me who has, what, 25 to 30,000 followers on Twitter, my timeline is rampant. I mean, I refresh my timeline and it just keeps scrolling. So, I mean, you can imagine the amount of things that are coming through my Twitter
Mhm.
and what I bypass, and that's the way I look at it. What Megan's made me do is see, why do I go past something and make sure that I incorporate that. And again, she simplifies it for me because, I mean, I'm a wordy person. That's the public speaker. That's the keynote in me, you know. So,
But I think
but
that's such a strength too. And yeah, keep going because I think that like I'm with you with everything that you've said so far.
well, I don't want to take up everybody else's time, but I mean, listen, you search the people who can simplify it and make you effective. And there's no question in my mind. And I told you this, and when I did, the thing at Amplify for you, I knew right then in that moment, Megan was somebody that I needed to work with. She had a value to me, and our personalities were very similar.
Yeah.
Uh, I think Kyra, you said that too, or Leslie, you said that. You're the same type of people, and if you can find those connections, it's those connections then that help you accelerate and become efficient and effective. I mean, those are the things that we all need to be. If you're going to do this, you better be efficient and effective because if you're not, all you're doing is trying to throw something up, hope it hits, and you know, does it happen? Yes, but does it happen on a consistent basis? No, not that way.
it this is exactly like the reason why I created this because and I love all coaching. I am a huge advocate for getting coached in different programs. However, I just wanted a blueprint. I wanted it simple. I wanted somebody to sit me down and just tell me, hey, you like coaching, just do these things and it will work. And that's what I hope to give to all of you, even in this podcast. But hopefully, if you do end up taking the step to work with me, that's my goal is to make it simple. You don't want to feel like you're throwing spaghetti at the wall or building the plane as you fly it. I want to take those things away from you. And Coach Heck, for you, when we're thinking about bridging the gap from your audience who knows you as this football coach, a lot of people don't know what life coaching is. They don't know what leadership coaching is. So it's almost like two worlds that one who knows you from the football world, one who knows what coaching is, and then we're bridging that gap, but you're doing a fantastic job with it. And you are making their lives more efficient and optimized too.
Well, and you mentioned, that we all have children. Mine are at a different stage, but one of the things, and I'm going to throw this out there, Megan doesn't even know this yet, but one of the things Megan is going to help me with
Oh, great.
here over the next week is, and I took it from the data on the post, my carousel boost. I actually had out of the 855 hits to my appointment page, 70% of those were women. And um, my wife and I have raised a daughter. She's 26 years old. When she graduated from college, she was the youngest female hired into the NFL. And she's now the director of player engagement for Texas A&M football. So I've raised a very strong, my wife and I should say, my wife and I have raised a very strong daughter, but a very strong woman. And a lot of what my coaching is tailored around is not just raising strong men, but raising strong women.
Absolutely.
And the world needs strong women. And so that's your upcoming project with me, probably not next week, but the week after is getting that messaging out and I think, the numbers tell me that, that could be, the numbers are telling me that I had more women hit, but I want them to understand that I'm here for them and I have experience in raising a strong woman.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what we'll talk about, like with all of you, weaving in your personal story, talking about things that you're passionate about, the movements that you want to create. All of us are creating movements. That is the purpose of our businesses, is to create positive change, like Heck said, Coach Heck said about creating, there's a problem in the world and we want to solve it. we're seeing problems that when people need empowerment, people need help with hormones at a later stage in life and a younger stage in life. There are different phases that everyone is going through. And I am just so honored to help you on this journey, pivoting, like not just pivoting, but just kind of like enhancing your marketing for both. That's what you'll find. The more you market, the more you'll learn. Okay, this is actually my real target audience. How can we identify that? And it really is like there's a setup phase where we get your foundation ready. And like what I was telling Jeff this morning is that now we're in the trial and evaluate stage. So it's like we got the foundation, then we trial, we test, and then we change. And that's why my programs are so long. It's a long program because it's not an instant. You can't just do something and expect it to work. Sometimes it does, but then we also want to continue that success. And if it doesn't work, we got to pivot. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on. And Kyra and Leslie, it's great to meet you.
Yes,
I'm sorry that I do have to jump, but
you're good.
other business, I got to get on a call here in 10 minutes and I got to do a little prep work for it. So,
That is perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on. And if people want to find you to work with you one-on-one, Rise Coaching is 6 months. It's fantastic. I will include all of Jeff's links in the show notes so that you can check him out too.
yep. And I can't wait to show you the journal that every one of my clients gets. I created a journal. So, yes.
Awesome. Fantastic. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see it. And definitely, like, if you've got more questions, message him on social media. That's the best way to get in contact, and then I'll include your emails as well. So,
Appreciate you.
of course,
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
of course. All right, Leslie, coming around to you. We're going to combine the last two questions for you too, because we've talked a fair amount, and I want to know what has been, it doesn't have to be your biggest accomplishment ever, but what has been a big accomplishment that you've created so far, and then why should other people get started working with me?
Oh my gosh. So many things. I think, gosh, I think Coach Hex said the same thing, but it hits me in a different way, and I'll explain how. I think that biggest accomplishment is just staying the course. When you and I started coaching, I would not be looking at the positives. And you always start your coaching calls with what is the positive. And so I think that's really, really helpful is just being the person that is not going to give up and stay on course. And I think when you have these systems in place, you always go back to them because you know that they work. And the other thing would be like, I would say is it allows you not to spiral. It allows you to see from big picture view, like, all right, you are on course, you are doing okay, keep going and it's like putting in your reps, right? Like coach would say, put
Yes.
in your reps and and you've shown that to me. You're like, do you see how you did this, you did that, and then you got those consults? And I was like, yeah, that's totally true. The other thing I think that one of my biggest accomplishments in working with you was in functional medicine, I felt like it was really, really dry. And I didn't want to be the person to be like, you need to take magnesium to sleep. These are the benefits of magnesium. And all of like, be the person who's like out there doing all those things. I think you really educated me on where people are in their journey, right? And then also, I think when you teach us about marketing to the right person, it's like everybody's going to pick up on you in a different part of their journey. And you were able to distill that so clearly and to be speaking to each different type of person and the different part of their journey, which is so like coaching. It's like the stages of change. Where are you in the stages of change? So, and that would be my target audience. But I really wanted to bring my personality into it. And you have modeled the energy and you have modeled the capacity and you have modeled everything that is capable, like you've really instilled like you're capable of doing a lot, and I love that about you. And the other thing is that I've also learned, and it's unbelievable because I've obviously been in other coaching containers, but I think when I've worked with you, it really came to light is that people want to work with you,
Yeah.
and it's like you're the person that people want to work with. People buy you. People buy your personality. People buy, they don't even care. So you want to get to the point where like you can put out like, I'm going to show you how to tie your shoes. And buy it because they love you. And that's like how you make things more human. And that was like a transition I made from being in functional medicine, being in that environment to, okay, you have to be a real human being. And I've struggled too. I'm going to show you my struggles, but also I can help you because I've been there. So that was really, really great.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. You've hit on so many different things. I think that the two things that I just wanted to highlight from your story is the fact that the consistency and making your problems objective is so important. Like actually being able to track, and because it can feel like a grind. It can feel very challenging to show up all the time. Maybe you're not getting results as quickly as like 48 hours. You might have to work a little. Like I that's a wonderful achievement, and not I don't want to set the expectation that everyone works with me for 48 hours and signs the client. It sometimes takes a long time. Around 90 days is the rule of 90 of creating the strong foundation and create consistency around your messaging is really important. And I think that that is not the same as any other career. I think in most other
Yeah.
careers, you put in the work, you get a result, and it can be at least you A, know you're on the right path, and B, you have the direction to change. And I think that as a solopreneur, you have to kind of create that yourself. So I'm really, really glad that you hit on that is like A, making the problems seem like, okay, it's just numbers, it's just data. You are winning, you are creating successes, there are positive things that you've experienced. And here's how we want to pivot to get even more results as time goes on. So huge. And then the other thing is the personality piece of things. I think this comes for a lot of coaches that the personality, the big differentiator between coaching and therapy is that personal aspect, that people actually see you as a person. And it's interesting because most of the people who have come on this podcast have been coaches, and you both are functional medicine practitioners. So it's a really cool pivot. But I do think that even in your fields, I think it is really important. And I'm really, really glad that that's been beneficial for you guys. So, so good. And Leslie,
Absolutely.
if you want to really quickly share how people can get started working with you and where they can find you, and then we'll move on over to Kyra to finish us off.
Okay, great. So you can find me at leslieduffycoaching.com. Right now, the website is under construction. However, if you wanted to reach out to me, it would be um, in Instagram at Leslie Duffy Coaching. And also, I'm starting, my podcast is dropping next week or the week after, we're hoping, as long as we can get the approved by Apple. And it's called The Hormone Shift Show. So I would love for you to start watching, and you can always email me at Leslie at thehormoneshiftshow.com. And that's wait, shift, not,
Shift.
because it is a shift.
It is a shift. Well, here, and
Yeah.
what I'll do is instead of you guys having to frantically type that all out, just check out the show notes and you can find all
Yes.
these amazing links from Leslie there. Thank you so, so much for coming on and sharing about your experience. I'm
Thank you for having me so much. I'm also going to pop off and leave you with
okay.
Kira, and I'm
Amazing.
going to come back in and listen because I want to hear all about Kira's story too. So thank you so much.
Of course.
Bye now.
Bye.
Hi,
And
Leslie.
Kira, if you want to finish us off with telling everyone what
Yes.
your biggest accomplishment has been so far and why you think other people should start.
So, my biggest accomplishment, I think, is that I treat my business as a business and that I put that out there, right? So, the difference, and I think Leslie could probably agree with this too, is that as a nutritionalist, it is hard sometimes to just not be giving like one piece advice to people. But that's not what I do. I'm not trying to have people come in, see me once, go away, like good luck with everything. It's really about building that relationship. And I think that that is part of it is treating your business like a business, thinking about the journey that you're on with people, not just how do I get people to buy? Of course, that's important because that's how we have businesses, but building the relationship and having the journey with people and actually thinking of myself as a coach instead of just someone that's doling out advice because anyone can go rent a book or listen to a podcast or listen to a YouTube video and get a lot of really great advice, but building the journey with them and coming through the ups and downs and being willing to see myself as my clients, right? So the things I struggle with, for instance, in my business with consistency or something like that, my clients are going to struggle with the same thing. So being willing to say, oh, okay, like these systems that Megan's teaching me, how can I use these and draft them in a way that makes sense for people that are trying to follow protocols and things like that? So doing that, I think, has just had me step out in a new level of confidence where it's like, I don't have to always have the perfect answer. I don't have to always have the perfect plan. As long as I'm treating this with respect and giving myself the time and that it deserves or needs, then it's going to, I think, really pay off. And seeing that specifically on social media, I think it's made me be able to step out in a braver way. And I mean, all of the vanity metrics, as you call them, it's true. It doesn't matter. It doesn't equate to sales, but it has helped me. I've grown, quite a bit on social media, and now I actually have to watch out how my calendar is like set up, because I like surprised you have bookings for discovery calls, which was never a problem before figuring out these systems. I'll just say, if people know, okay, I've got my free discovery call, and then you're like, how do I get people to do this? Well, it's about consistency. Like Megan said, the 90-day plan, learning these systems are going to put you in a position where you have people come to your page and it's not just like, oh, they're going to be able to look back and see what it's about and what you have to offer. And then why I think Megan is the one is because I actually messaged Megan and was like, I think you're my coach. Like, because I was following her for a while. And it's just, the thing is like, I'm a podcast consumer, I'm all these things, but Megan has been there. This is someone who, it's not like she's 30 years into a business, which is great. Like, no harm, no foul to people that are, but it's very close, I believe, in her memory of starting out. She was a teacher, an elementary school teacher. Like, it's she knows what it's like to be trying to budget, how to grow your business, how to do things in a way that's sustainable while still working. And then even just being able to go back and listen to her of how she built the business. There's no secret here of like, oh, she secretly went overnight to making, multiple millions. Like, she's building a business that's sustainable and living an amazing life while doing it, which is something I really admire about you, Megan, is just the way that you're very like loving in your relationships and friendships and doing that while building this like amazing business. So I love learning that from you and seeing that it's tangible, it's realistic, and it's also amazing.
Oh, I can't tell you how much that means, Kyra. That's what I hope that you guys all see is that, like, yes, I am a few steps ahead, but I've been there. Like, that is the biggest thing for me is like creating a business on a budget, being able to do it in part-time hours. Like, it is so possible. And if that is something that you're looking for, I would be so honored to be your coach because I think that I also want to have a business that revolves around my life, not a life that revolves around my business. And that's why I think that I've been able to create, and I'm so glad that you're creating that too, especially with your 4 kids. That's giving me hope for the future. Eventually, I will be a mom right up there with you. And that is huge. And I'm so excited. I love being your coach. And speaking of being your coach and working with you and pregnancy and all those things, if people want to find you, if people want to work with you, the fact that your consult calendar is getting full is so exciting to me. But tell people where they can find you if they want to learn more.
The best place is Instagram. I'm a true millennial. I love my Instagram, and you can find me at Fully Fertile Nutrition on Instagram.
Amazing. And I'm going to include these on my show notes. So you're going to be able to click directly into the links of all of these amazing clients and get to know them, reach out to them. I mean, I'm sure that like you have other things. If maybe people have questions, I'm kind of volunteering for that. But like if people have questions, maybe they can ask.
Yes, send all the questions. Book a free discovery call.
Yes. And I'm so excited for more people to join. Thank you so much for coming on again from the car, summer schedule, different time zones. I truly appreciate you taking this time, and I cannot wait for more people to work with you. And again, if you have any questions, reach out to me as well. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next episode of the podcast. All right, bye everybody.